Hello everyone, welcome back to another StarCraft 2 commentary. I am 404, and today it looks like we have FruitDealer, the Zerg player. I'll get into a little bit more on him in just a second. And Hope Torture, the blue Terran, here on Scrap Station. And I want to first thank everyone who's commented on my videos, sent me messages telling me how to improve my cast. I read all those, and I really do appreciate all the criticism I get, even if some of it isn't so constructive, but I do take all of it into consideration, and I'm going to try to make these better. Second off, I've had requests for longer games. Unfortunately, this one isn't a longer one, but it's about average, I guess. Other than that, let's get into these players here. Hope Torture, also known as Rainbow or IntoTheRainboW, a former OGS member of the Korean pro team OGS. He was in Day 9's King of the Hill, or King of the Beta, not King of the Hill tournament. He did pretty good in there. Don't remember exactly what place he got, but most importantly, Rainbow just finished second in the first StarCraft 2 GSL in Korea, which earned him, I think, like 25K American or something like that, so a lot of money. On the other hand, we have this Zerg player, which is a Korean name. I've been told several times that it doesn't translate very well to English, but it's something along the lines of fruit vendor, fruit seller, fruit dealer. So a person who sells fruit, basically. So you kind of get the point. Also known as OGS Cool, used to play in the OGS clan along with a Hope Torture, or Rainbow rather. But is no longer in that clan, is now in the SCV Life clan, and this guy finished first in the first SC2 GSL. So both these players. It's the BattleNet matchup. It's not. This isn't part of the tournament, but both these players did compete for first and second in the first GSL that just wrapped up just a few days ago. All right, so looking over here at the Zerg, looks like we had about a 15 pool, or maybe a 14 pool. Not a pool, a hatch. What am I talking about? But possibly a 14 or 15 pool too. But it looks like fast expand on this map, as it's always a good option. Very long rest distance, as you all may know. And a low wall in by Rainbow here, going with a command center and a racks on the low ground here. So a fast expand build for this Terran too. More SCVs being trained up. Looks like a mule was called down. Shortly going to be supply blocked, as we should see a supply depot being thrown down somewhere. But nonetheless, we do have another racks being thrown down up on the high ground. Overlord making its way across the map. One very nicely positioned here, but looks like this SCV or this Marine might be able to get a couple shots off on it, but it doesn't look like it's going to be able to do much harm. Very interesting to see this command center here on the low ground. Always, risky to go fast expand against a Zerg player, especially if the Zerg player has seen it. And I do believe, if we look here, yeah, Zerg player does definitely sees that command center. They're chatting it up in this chat here. No idea what they're saying, but the Zerg player does see it. If we pull up the production tab, what do we have on the way? It looks like metabolic boost. I don't know if there are already any lings or not. Doesn't look like there's any lings out yet, but if you look at the income tab, the Zerg player should be way ahead. And 3 drones this early, I would consider that way ahead, as now it's 5 drones. But these injects these queens are doing, we should fare up a lot of larvae. Probably going to see a bunch of lings come out. You should expect some kind of rush like that, especially since the Zerg player does know that the Terran player is going fast expand. Not only fast expand, but waiting on this to morph into a orbital command before he lifts off and lands it in this position over here. However, the Terran player should be catching back up in harvesters, because he has 2 unit producing structures now, or 2 worker producing structures. This SCV going to try to come in here and get a little bit of scouting information. Not much to see, nothing out of the ordinary. You should note that there are still drones on gas, which is a little bit out of the ordinary. Might tech up to a layer here pretty soon, but just as I suspected, tons of lings going to be coming across the map here, as well as a bangling nest. Zerg player with this Overlord here knows exactly what's going on. Looks like if we pull up the units tab, we have 18 lings just flooding across the map, and it looks like 22 more on the way. So a ton of lings. Gonna check this back door. I'm gonna push up here to the front. Ton of SCVs gonna be coming off the line for Rainbow here, as well as a ton of Marines. But it looks like we are gonna have some banglings being morphed in the back right here, and gonna be some type of bangling bust, which could be very, very bad for Rainbow here, as there is not a complete wall in here on the low ground. Maybe you should consider lifting this racks up and putting it down right here. But nonetheless, there are about 7 banglings with a ton of lings right here. Going to be reinforcing it. 32 lings. Banglings come in, make quick work of all those SCVs, forcing the Marines to stem up and run backwards. However, the SCV is going to be coming up in here into the mineral line, which could be very, very, very bad news for Rainbow here. Some more Korean chat going on. Not sure what they're saying. It looks like the lings and the banglings are just going to rip through these SCVs. And if we pull up the income tab, there are just no SCVs left for Rainbow here. 5 over 28. There's still a ton of lings just rampant in Rainbow's base. They're actually just kind of chilling right here. I don't know what they're saying. They might already be saying GG or FU or who knows what. So it does look like my frame rate just dropped to almost nothing, and I have no freaking clue why it keeps doing this. It has to be something on the BattleNet that didn't used to happen. It's something new. But nonetheless, there is going to be a factory going to try to land right here and secure this wall off for Rainbow here. However, there are just a ton more lings coming across the map. If we look at the units tab, looks like 41 lings total, and looks like the lings are going to get into the natural in this before this factory can land, and indeed the factory cannot land now as the lings are surrounding this racks. Hope Torture does leave. So it looks like Fruit Dealer, Fruit Seller, Fruit Vendor, whatever won this matchup. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for more StarCraft 2 commentaries.